Hola, ¿qué tal? ¿Cómo estamos? Volvemos con Genshin Impact y tengo que advertir que no puedo hablar muy alto. Es bastante tarde, pero tenía que hacer directos, ya que voy a estar ocupado durante bastante tiempo y ahora mis horarios van a ser distintos. Así que quería hacer la historia de Inazuma, a ver si conseguimos llegar de una maldita vez. Y he estado limpiando prácticamente todo esto, básicamente. Así que me he ido aquí, me he ido a las misiones y he limpiado todo lo posible, todo lo posible. Resina, estoy casi sin resina directamente porque he gastado todo en jefes, he intentado mejorar personajes, todo lo posible, ¿vale? Así que vamos a ir aquí. He ido subiendo un poco los personajes y sé que tengo la misión para ascender el nivel del mundo, pero no quiero subirlo ahora mismo porque veo que no es necesario. Veo que ahora mismo mis personajes están a un nivel medianamente bien para este nivel y me quedo corto. Me quedo corto, o sea, veo que algunos jefes me cuesta matarlos. Veo que los enemigos, a no ser que vaya con Razor, me cuesta matarlos igual. Así que antes de meterme a pelearme con ningún enemigo tocho, voy a, voy a seguir haciendo esto a este nivel. Y más adelante seguiré subiendo personajes. Y ya lo subiré el nivel de extensión y todas estas cosas, ¿vale? Así que vamos a continuar y en teoría tenemos que ir a Foma de alguna forma, pero a ver qué pasa.
Ah, you're the consultant to Wangsheng Funeral Parlor. Mr. Zhongli, I presume. The Millilith are watching our every move now. These are desperate times. We mustn't act rashly.
Desperate times?
The Adepti of Joyun Karst are finally on the move.
Do they intend to exercise force?
Most likely. I've heard that some members of the Qixing have already gone to meet them. Well, I say meet, but it's more like they're attempting to stall the Adepti outside the city. However, both sides were quite obstinate and hit an impasse.
It seems inevitable, given the current situation.
The Adepti do not acknowledge the Qixing. They only acknowledge the contracts of the Geo-Archon. If the two sides come to blows, Liyue Harbor will be in no position to stop them.
De momento voy a dejar un
Surely
poquito
the
la historia
Liu
porque
Qixing are not the
es la
sort to give
principal.
in so easily.
Their boneheadedness is known throughout the lands. Yet it's because of that obstinacy that mortals and Adepti are now on the verge of conflict.
And what now? How is it that the Fatui have come under fire?
That's all Ningguang's doing. She proclaimed that in these tumultuous times, the Millilith must rein in the actions of the Fatui. Only now do they want to start keeping tabs on us? That's the Qixing for you. Anyway, Mr. Zhongli, you're one of Child's close associates. Please understand that your actions will reflect on us. Don't let anyone catch you off guard.
It looks like things are about to boil over in Liyue Harbor.
¿Y qué podemos hacer
Do
nosotros?
you intend to use your neutral identity as an intermediary between both sides? Or will you use your sword to turn the balance? Neither path is an easy one.
Oh, by the way, Mr. Zhongli, we've heard that the Wangsheng Funeral Parlor has also been caught up in all of this. They're currently squaring off with the authorities at the gates.
Things are taking a turn for the worse. I'm afraid I must leave now to handle things back at Wangsheng Funeral Parlor. I hope that Master Hu has been able to keep things under control for the moment. Consider your next course of action carefully, Traveler. If you're trying to prevent an explosion, it may be wisest to look for the fuse first.
Having connections with the Fatui seems to be quite the double-edged sword. So what does Zhongli mean by looking for the fuse?
Bueno, recordemos básicamente que, resumen rápido, mataron al dragón, nos culparon al dragón Geo, al arconte Geo, nos echaron la bronca a nosotros, nos dijeron que sí habíamos sido nosotros y nos está ayudando un Fatui. La cosa es que el Fatui, que es Nobile, o Child, o Tartaglia, creo que se llama, básicamente es malo y nos está ayudando por conveniencia, básicamente. Así que hay que tener mucho cuidado con él y sabemos que el malo es Nobile.
Oh, Paimon gets it. If there's anyone that wants to see the whole city turned upside down, it's definitely him. He must be waiting for the moment when no one is watching to do something really bad. But where could we find him now? Where would he go at a time like this?
Ven conmigo. Y probablemente el mapa nos diga dónde esté. Estuve farmeando un poco de todas partes, realmente. Estuve buscando cofres, estuve buscando protogemas por todas partes, misiones. Las misiones diarias no me he saltado ninguna. La resina también la he intentado gastar todo lo posible. Me acabo de dar cuenta de que tengo así el link y no debería tenerla ahora mismo. Me salió en un deseo otra Sian Link. Y ahora lo que pone es algo de implosión o mejora del ataque, de las habilidades de Sian Link, que tampoco cambia mucho. Pero lo que me interesa es este cambio que también me ha salido con Sara. Y es que ahora al tirar la E también dejo un rayo. Y aparte, al disparar una flecha cargada también tengo otro rayo. Así que ahí está. Dirígete a la Casa Dorada. Aquí hay una misión. Esta la voy a seleccionar y ya la haré en otro momento, ¿vale? Las únicas misiones que me faltan por resolver son las misiones relacionadas con las misiones legendarias. La cosa es que me da una pereza absurda hacerlas. Dicho esto, a ver si me va a venir mejor hacerlo por teletransporte, pero parece que no. Parece que no es así. Vale, pues allí tenemos nuestra dirección. Por cierto, cosas importantes, que esto también os lo tengo que decir. Bueno, esto a los de YouTube no les va a importar, a los de los directos tal vez sí. Pero antes intentaba hacer un directo al día, si me fuera posible y tal. Pero ha pasado cosas. Han pasado que me ha salido trabajo. Así que tengo las tardes ocupadas. Y actualmente tengo que estudiar y aparte tengo unas prácticas que hacer de una empresa. Así que durante un mes tal vez haya menos vídeos. Los intentaré repartir como se puedan. Pero es eso básicamente. Intentaré repartir los vídeos como pueda para que intente haber vídeos cada 1 o 2 días. Lo que pasa es que ahora mismo, hasta que termine las prácticas, que son un mes, pues voy a tener que repartir un poquito los vídeos. Básicamente. No voy a tener tanto tiempo y básicamente voy a tener los fines de semana solo para grabar, para socializar, para vivir con la familia y todo. Así que hay que tener eso en cuenta. Sobrado el desafío de un jugador. Pues nos vamos a tener que dar de hostias contra nuestro amigo el Fatui Nobile. Por cierto, también he olvidado decirlo. Kim04, muchísimas gracias por el follow, que también lo dieron.
Impressive enough from the outside, but who would have guessed that it was even fancier on the inside? And so full of mora.
Y otra cosa muchísimo más importante, y es que por fin he llegado a los requisitos mínimos para el afiliado de Twitch, así que muchísimas gracias, en serio. Eso es lo mínimo que puedo decir. Por cierto, aquí hay un guardia inconsciente que no se está viendo por la cámara, ¿vale? Si mueves un dedo estamos acabadas. Si fuera tan fácil habrían vaciado este lugar hace mucho tiempo.
Oh, so it's a trap. Tricky. But even if we can't take any, we can still have a closer look, right? Or better yet, take a nap on top of a mountain of
Ahora ya por fin os puedo recompensar. Ya os puedo recompensar con emoticonos y contenido para el canal, ¿vale? Así que en serio, muchísimas gracias. Podemos tomar una siesta cubierta de una montaña de moras. Será mejor que primero inspeccionemos la exuvia. Tengo un extraño presentimiento. Realmente diría cualquiera de las dos.
It's quiet. Too quiet. Surely someone's gotta be guarding something as important as the exuvia. Huh? Look! What happened here?
Parece que están inconscientes.
Quick! We have to go make sure that the exuvia is all right.
Ahí va, si está el dragón inconsciente y petrificado. Bueno, petrificado, está levitando. Voy a ir con este personaje ya de primeras. Por cierto, ya le he conseguido subir al 50. Así que ya es un poquito mejor. Tiene 10.000 de vida. Le he mejorado mucho los artefactos. Así que ya curo más de 1100 por tick.
You've already fulfilled your task as guides. So why do you still linger here? Haven't you already seen enough trouble for today?
Huh? Who's there?
No será tu amigo.
Fatui, I imagine that you would be entitled to a generous reward from the Tsaritsa herself.
Me la podéis dar igualmente, ¿eh?
But now, you're nothing but dross, and you're in my way.
Veo que llegué justo en el momento indicado. Tiene pinta.
Although I'm deeply grateful to you that I was able to effortlessly find this secret location, don't you think that trying to stop me now would just be wasted effort? Stopping the more immense, hiding away the exuvia. The Chising are really pulling out all the stops this time.
Por cierto, estoy bastante oscuras, también lo digo, ¿eh? Lo máximo que puedo poner es así un poquito más de luz. Pero ya os avisé que también gobierno de España gracioso y eléctricas, todo muy caro. Luz muy cara. Así que tampoco puedo poner mucha luz.
As one of the 11 Fatui Harbingers, it's my duty to see the will of the Tsaritsa fulfilled. She will get that which she desires.
No dejaré que te acerques a Exuvia, si soy el bueno
I'm
o
not
la buena en
asking
este
for your
caso.
blessing, and there's nothing you can do to stop me anyway. The time for discussion and diplomacy has already passed. I mean, if it were up to me, I would have skipped that stage to begin with.
Me gustaría
But I'm willing to do as the Tsaritsa deems fit.
Me gustaría, si es posible, si alguien me pudiera decir, tanto en el directo, sino por el chat en YouTube, en los comentarios, si en algún momento podré controlar también al personaje masculino de la historia, ¿vale? Cuando al principio te dejan escoger entre el chico y la chica, si lo podré controlar a ambos y podré hacer varias estrategias, no lo sé.
Either way, we now come to my favorite part. A simple pleasure, and one that I am oh so delighted to be sharing with you. The battle.
Battle? So you're the type that goes looking for trouble, huh?
You could say that. When Signora offended the deities outside the cathedral in Mondstadt, she swiftly left the scene once her mission was accomplished.
Vale.
Instead of confronting you directly, she chose to rely on the snow and ice to make her escape. She wouldn't, when she faces a
Me he
worthy
equivocado,
opponent,
perdón. He
she
saltado
would
demasiado rápido el
prioritize her
texto.
mission, weigh the outcomes, and consider the consequences of her actions. But as for me, the greatest pleasure of being a harbinger lies in crossing blades with strong opponents.
Uy,
We won't let what happened in Mondstadt ever happen again!
Oh, so you intend to fight me? Good.
Sí.
I won't kill you, traveler. I'll just play along, to feel the thrill of battle.
el problema es que como nos hagan pelear con nuestro personaje, no tienen ni siquiera un arma buena ahora mismo.
Besides, you could never defeat me, not even in your wildest dreams.
Ok, se la quité, se la
Try
quité.
to relish the fight anyway, because if you ask me, without that,
Que nunca
what else
te
is
podré
there?
vencer. Vamos a verlo.
Fighting talk, I love it. Now let's see you live up to it.
Sé que es un personaje difícil de pelear, ¿eh? Es lo poco que sé.
This chance is hard to come by, so show me all you've got. So very few ever get the chance to square off with a Fatui Harbinger. So come now, amuse me, and don't you dare disappoint. Poor timing, a fine opportunity.
Pues no tan difícil, por lo visto.
Run all you like.
Es lo que pasa cuando le sacas 10 niveles al jefe.
Guess I should take you more seriously. Haha, good. No wonder Signora was so wary of you. Well, that just means I can go all out. Brace yourself. This is about to get tough. Now.
No sé, no me hace ni daño como tal, ahora mismo. No sé, le estoy metiendo 2000 de daño. Tampoco está bien, no sé.
All you do is run. I'll crush you.
Creo que esto está hecho para Wii, ¿eh? Tampoco era tan fuerte.
Not bad. Your swordsmanship is quite impressive. But that's about as far as you'll get.
Madre mía. ¿Le ha salido Geo porque tengo la sincronía con Geo? No.
Didn't think you had that card hidden up your sleeve.
You were just playing us to get close to the Exuvia.
Oh,
Es que no sé si es por eso,
stop acting
le
like some
saltaría
blind
viento si
item
tuviera
you've seen this world.
la
You
consonancia.
people should know. This should have been expected. Well then, I'll be taking Morax's Gnosis now. I see. Well, this is most unexpected. You beat me to it, didn't you?
Ah, tengo la consonancia y por eso se está quejando de mí. Madre mía, tercera fase. Oh no. Si hubiera extendido el nivel de mundo, tal vez esto no hubiera podido hacerlo. Y hubiera tenido que estar farmeando días para hacer esto.
You got to the Gnosis ahead of me, didn't you? Did you simply move faster? Or did you leak the information regarding the Golden House to
Vale,
the
al menos no es inmune.
No matter. Hand the Gnosis over, now. Don't make me take it.
Vamos a hacer una cosita y nos vamos a cargar rápido a este bicho. Que es curar primero a Razor. Eso es un problema. Y voy a usar esta comida legendaria.
We didn't take it.
Esta comida nos aumenta el daño y nos aumenta la probabilidad de crítico. Mezclado con superconductor, pues a veces le puedo meter casi 3000 de daño. Le ha durado la vida, ¿eh? Sé que te puedes enfrentar más veces a él, ¿eh?
Look, Child's back to normal again.
Más que nada por los memes.
Well then, time to cool off. It seems the burden of the foul legacy transformation was too great for my body. And now that I consider the matter more carefully, you never had any chance of beating me to the Gnosis. You had no connection to the Gnosis, no matter where it had been taken.
That's what we've been trying to tell you. We didn't take it.
Your show of ability today far surpasses that of Signora's initial assessment of you in Mondstadt. Tell me, how could that be?
Porque estamos reuniendo los poderes de los 7 elementos, porque estamos restaurando mi poder original.
You already know the answer, don't you? I can see it in your eyes. But if that is a secret you wish to keep, I guess I'll just have to curb my curiosity. This battle has already left me satisfied. Anyone who strives as I do to grow stronger shall be called a friend. Even if our friendship can only be shown in battle against one another.
No sé, yo te he destruido vivo,
Sure, that's
tampoco...
not the normal way to make friends.
Tampoco ha sido tan difícil.
Unfortunately, I must bring this amiable conversation to an end. My quest still beckons.
Realmente no me hacía falta ni siquiera tomarme esa comida, ¿eh?
Taken by anyone, then we must look once again to the beginning. Perhaps it was never in the Exuvia to begin with. In fact, it might be that the Exuvia was just a diversion of sorts.
What? So you mean that...
¿Los restos son falsos?
Yes, it appears so. Interesting to say the least. It seems that the guardian deity of the capital of commerce is also well versed in little
Tal vez sea esto como una muda de piel como las serpientes.
As such, we must now look to our backup plan.
Backup plan?
I had hoped it would never come to this, for the weak will be swept away in the process. The truth is, the world belongs to those who pursue strength. I seldom willingly involve myself with the weak. Unfortunately, we cannot be picky about our methods as Fatui harbingers. Children must all learn to eat their vegetables sometime.
So what are you planning to do?
I will awaken the god that lies dormant beneath Guyon's stone forest.
A god?
El bosque de la piedra Goyun.
Osile, overlord of the vortex, who was defeated by Morax, the Geo-Archon in the Archon War, and who has remained pinned beneath the waves by the Geo-Archon's stone spears ever since. If such an ancient god were to be unleashed upon Liyue Harbor, defenseless without the protection of its deity, do you think the cunning Rex Lapis would just stand aloof and watch the ensuing destruction?
But the Archon War ended 2,000 years ago. How can an ancient god appear in a world now overseen by the Seven?
Simple. I've already prepared the means to awaken it.
Los sellos, ¿no?
Those are sigils of permission. Oh, Paimon remembers now. The Fatui have been researching them.
No solo eso, estás tratando de duplicarlo.
Indeed. The one that was given to you was just a byproduct of our research. With the power of so many sigils of permission concentrated in one place, along with that which was bestowed upon me as a harbinger by our Tsaritsa, breaking the subduing might of the Geo-Archon spears for a time should be no obstacle. Using the powers of ancient gods in such a situation fails to interest me, and is largely against my principles. But knowing that such an action will not only force the Geo-Archon to show its hand, but you as well, that makes matters a little more intriguing.
Estoy tan a oscuras que me está haciendo hasta daño y la vista, esa luz. Ya lo digo, es que son casi son las 10:30 de la noche ahora mismo. Normalmente no estoy acostumbrado a grabar estas horas. Por eso estoy hablando tan bajo y demás. Intentaré grabar todo lo posible. En el momento en el que me digan corta,
Let's see.
tendré que
Will the
cortar por
nation that has
desgracia.
lost its deity be swallowed up by an ancient malice once more? If you wish to drown together with the people of Liyue, you're free to stay and enjoy the show.
La cosa es que este tío estaba controlando, es de elemento agua, pero también es elemento electro, ¿no?
That guy is fast.
Ha controlado el elemento electro en algún momento de la pelea.
What's going on?
Ah, ya tengo todos los Anemoculus. Todos los Oculus de Mondstadt ya los tengo. Que me lo estuve currando para esforzarme para encontrarlos todos sin un solo vídeo, sino con las mecánicas que te deja el juego.
Paimon's exhausted.
¿De qué? ¿De volar?
If we hadn't happened to see the Jade Chamber flying over just as we came out of the Golden House, we really wouldn't have known which way to go. Did we make it in time? Is the Overlord of the Vortex still in the sea? It hasn't destroyed Liyue yet, has it?
La pose de Palmón.
What are you doing here?
Huh? Hold on. It's the Adepti. What are you doing on the Jade Chamber? Paimon thought you were arguing with the Chising. Is the fighting over?
Faced with a calamity of such magnitude, we have agreed to put our differences aside for now and unite against this common enemy.
Oh, Paimon gets it. So how do you plan to defend Liyue? Just seeing this Overlord of the Vortex guy puts a pit in Paimon's tummy, even from all the way out here.
It's not just you.
Ha dicho que le duele la
We've
tripa
got
en
new
inglés.
Lilith recruits who can't
Algo
even
así.
stand at attention without shaking. The force of an ancient god's presence seems to be too much for ordinary people to handle. Which is why we must stop that monster before it gets any closer to Liyue Harbor.
Pero mi personaje no para de sonreír,
The Archon War was fought 2,000 years ago against enemies like that thing? Now that's scary. So will the power of the Chising, Millelith, and Adepti gathered here be enough to stop that god?
We've already discussed this together, and our conclusion is not necessarily.
What? But all of you were supposed to be the guardians of Liyue. Can't you think of something?
One certainly could.
Huh?
The Qi-Sing did once research the matter of the Guizhong Ballista when it piqued their fancy. And as fate would have it, one who did craft the Guizhong Ballista with one's own hands is here. For what could you mortals ever learn of Adepti mechanisms? Yet, it would take one, but a little tinkering to turn this ballista, into an engine of war beyond your wildest thoughts.
Vamos a tener que ir a por la ballesta gigante a disparar.
I suppose this is one blessing from the Adepti that we should be thankful for. So be it. We shall use the upgraded Guizhong Ballista to fight off that god. All the Adepti here can lend their strength to man it. We haven't a moment to spare. Our battle begins now. Yep.
Eso luego seguro que no lo hace cuando la controlas. Hola Carlos, ¿qué tal? ¿Cómo estás? La ballesta no era así, ¿eh? Pues nada, voy a caer. Poco aguante tienes de sueño. ¿Quién va a tener que pelear contra esos? Vaya.
The three Adepti are manning the Guizhong Ballista. Do not let the Fatui disturb their work.
All able Millilith, with me!
Let's go help too!
We Adepti have not faced a god in several millennia. Let one see what you're made of then. What strength remains within you? One wishes to witness.
No es mi problema que me desvele a las 4 y pico de la mañana. Tampoco está bien eso. ¡Ey! ¡Enemigos! Bueno, pues tenemos aquí a los 3 animales, los 3 Pokémon legendarios, y por ahí hay una señora por ahí formando plataformas. Y hago resumen rápido de la historia porque resumen es bastante absurdo. Vale, ¿por dónde venís?
That is Osial's divine power. I am very familiar with it. Be careful not to get hit.
¡Ay! Me golpeo.
Nice.
The Fatui! Their attacks are unrelenting!
How daring.
¿Me mata?
Snezhnai's diplomats will
Al final por la broma me mata.
answer for this afterward.
Y espera, vamos a hacer otra cosita, porque esto sí que va a ser importante aquí.
Every last one.
Pero... ¿Me queréis dejar todo esto?
Were you about to say we can't hold them, children?
Ese de ahí se ha vuelto inmortal, ¿eh?
Don't lose heart. Here, take this.
This is adeptal energy. That light from your body. It's like the time in Julian Cars.
Por alguna razón no tiene barra de vida.
Madam Pink Shockwave. This grid is really strong.
Ahora. Vaya Tower Defense sin torres. Tiene torres. Ah, torres que me ayuden. A ver, en teoría se está cargando un gigante, pero sí.
guard you against evil. Cast your fear of injury by the wayside and fight with all your might. I too did this during the Archon War.
Ah, me están mejorando las habilidades durante este combate.
This is what Ganya's like in a fight.
My name means swiftness. Take my power and run as I do.
Bien, me potencian. Es un vaya kraken totalmente. Dicen que es un dios antiguo, así que cuela igual. No se me gasta la energía. Controlas 3 poderes a la vez.
You can withstand 3 forms of adeptal energy at once.
This will hurt a little. Please bear with us.
Once you've adapted.
Hombre, la verdad es que tocho voy ahora mismo, Nada comparable con el Kraken de For the King. No he jugado a For the King, así que no lo sé.
No turning back.
No.
Sacred name, fortune preserver, life goes on.
Tú que los explotas directamente.
Animal hypostasis emulation.
Exercise caution.
Mira eso.
Fear that the god's power has reached its peak. In other words, if we hold here, there's nothing worse to come, right?
Cuando te pillas un barco te sale en una casilla random del océano y te puede romper el barco. Buena esa. Es que no sé, es como de repente estará al máximo de nivel. No te alejes de tus compañeros, que está feo.
The Fatui's numbers are thinning.
Fight on, comrades. Once we finish this lot off, the Adepti will be able to deal with the god in peace.
Tengo una torre a punto de romperse, y eso no me gusta. Pero quedan 10 segundos, así que entiendo que no van a salir más, ¿no? Madre mía, personaje de anime.
The interlopers are no more. Now we may commit ourselves fully.
¿Recordáis el cañón del Final Fantasy VII? Ahí lo tenéis.
It's working. We just need to keep this up.
Que hablan son adeptos. Se supone que es algo menor que los dioses. Dioses menores. Luego dicen de Pokémon, es que son tipo psíquico. Oh no, agua. Que son otakus. Pero si tenéis alas. Lleváis todo el juego con alas. Tenéis alas. No. No os asustéis por volar.
Be careful now.
The Guizhong Ballista is destroyed. Without its covering fire, retaliation shall be difficult.
But the Jade Chamber is our last line of defense. We can't give another inch, no matter what.
Ahora estamos con el alto mando
Another idea.
de Pokémon.
What do you mean, Lady Ningguang?
I'll sacrifice the Jade Chamber.
What is the meaning of this?
understand.
Traveler, lend me a hand. Farewell, old friend. Goodbye for now.
Me hacen Super
Let us meet again
Saiyan.
in the future.
Yo esto lo he visto en Los Vengadores, ¿eh? Yo esto lo he visto en Los Vengadores. Por cierto, sé que no es mucho, pero ya he creado emoticonos y todas estas cosas para el canal que me hacía ilusión.
Finally over?
The ominous aura of that monster has indeed begun to fade. The effects of the Sigil of Permission last but a short time. It will be some time before the Overlord of the Vortex can make any waves again.
We are indebted to you for your assistance. If the Adepti hadn't happened to be here, the future of Liyue Harbor would surely have been in
Y empieza la
great
música
jeopardy.
feliz.
Save your flattery. We didn't just happen to be here. Surely you won't pretend to have forgotten the reason for which we came.
Come now. There's no need for such harsh words, Cloud Retainer.
¿Qué hace aquí la vieja?
I've heard that
Es
when
verdad que era un
Ning Wang
adepto.
began learning to do business, she had already started setting aside part of her then
Esta vieja tiene el mismo rango que esa
preparation
cigüeña.
for building the Jade Chamber.
O que esa garza.
At first, it was only the size of a small room, but with continued expansion, it has become the palace that lies before you now. It is a testament to Ningguang's entire life, both as a businesswoman and as the backbone of the Liyue Qixing. Seeing the Jade Chamber destroyed in the defense of Liyue means much to her. To me, such cooperation and sacrifice deserves at least some recognition, don't you agree?
Well, I was really hoping you would say that such sacrifice could at least be
No me he
used
fijado en el
as some
plano.
leverage in our negotiations. Thank you all for hearing me out. We know very well why the Adepti came here today. But please forgive us. We cannot yield to your wishes.
Oh?
3,700 years. According to our records, the Adepti signed a contract with Rex Lapis to protect Liyue 3,700 years ago. Even to this very day, Liyue and its lands have stood the test of time, immovable as stone, just as it was thousands of years before.
Que te den al ciervo de montura.
This
Me
is truly
encantaría.
no small feat. But that does not mean that the Liyue of today is the same city as it was all those years ago. Do not merely cast your protective gaze upon the land.
No sé si se pueden tener monturas en este juego.
Focus your sights on our city and each of the citizens that dwell within it.
Are you questioning our means of protecting Liyue?
Sí.
I mean no offense. I simply hope that our Adepti forebears would see Liyue in a new light.
Forebearers, you say? One doubts you would be fit to be part of such a lineage.
This morning, Rex Lapis appeared to me in a dream.
What?
In the dream, I yearned to tell him that we Qixing, though mortal, are equally bound to the contract. Each passing generation of the Qixing leaves many things of value to be inherited by the next generation.
Esto se empieza a volver mucho
I
texto,
also
¿eh?
thought to tell him how the past generations of Qixing had strove under his rule to survive in our mortal world, establishing a network of contracts which has since come to be known as trade. But I dared not speak. I could only gaze at him in silence until the moment I awoke.
Oh, Ningguang.
Todos estamos en la misma posición ahora, menos mi personaje que realmente no tiene nada que ver con esta gente.
Yet another perspective. What are you trying to say, Outlander?
En el momento en el que hay discordia entre los protectores y elegidos, la armonía se vuelve difícil de restaurar.
Right. That's something that happened
Okay.
in Mondstadt. It's a story about the four winds and the people of the Animal Archon. The Animal Archon sought to quell the strife between the two sides, because he believed that such conflict would only scar the hearts of both.
Esto es lo que aprendimos en la capital de la libertad.
Each of the 7 nations has its own scars from the past.
Though your point is the very height of simplicity. As Adepti, we've become a laughingstock, to be chastised thus by an outlander who has lent us such succor.
All right, all right. Didn't Ningguang suggest that we should focus on the city and each
¿Imaginas que en vez del ciervo me dan a la vieja de
I
montura?
know I already have, so
Ahí sí que me
why not
reiría.
see for yourselves?
I apologize for appearing in full armor. I am afraid I cannot show the proper courtesies.
And who are you?
I am Feng Yan, a sergeant of the Millilith. I have come to extend my thanks to the Adepti. I thought this battle would perhaps be my last. But thanks to the aid of the Adepti, our forces were not as badly battered as I feared we might be. Although I am a mere mortal soldier, I promise to hold the line and never betray the grace given to us by the illuminated Adepti this day.
Me encantaría decir, la vieja de montura sería Dios, en serio.
Huh? Why does everyone look so down? Didn't we just beat that big monster?
Weren't you frightened, dear? It was quite the predicament.
I wasn't afraid. All the strong Millilith guards were there, and those powerful heroes
La niña no
strangers
importa.
near. Everyone always protects me. And the rest of the time, they make fun toys. Thanks for protecting Liyue Harbor. Please, come visit us for the next lantern rite.
Unfortunately, we wouldn't be able to participate.
Huh?
Because we are Adepti.
Oh, okay. It must be hard being an Adeptus.
No mucho.
You see, this is what Liyue is like today. The country of contracts is grateful to the Adepti for their protection, but it is no longer necessary.
No me suena haber
for the
subido
city
aquí,
to
pero tal
rely
vez haya
on the
cosas.
Adepti's power to solve every little niggling matter. Although their blood is weak, there is still strength to be found in those we call mortals. The time of contracts between gods and Liyue has long since passed. Now is the time of contracts between Liyue and its people.
Seeing the port around us now, it is hard not to feel a bit out of place. Wouldn't you say so, Cloud Retainer?
Your line of inquiry is askew. One did not spearhead this expedition to Liyue Harbor.
Seems like the Adepti have had a change of heart.
Finalmente están tratando de entender el corazón de la gente.
Let us return now.
Eager to leave, conqueror of demons.
Yes, one understands what the Conqueror of Demons means. The city of Liyue has changed much after our long separation. One fears that by the time one finally grasps the new contracts of Liyue, you humans would have once again changed the place beyond recognition. Fair enough. Away we shall, and return whence we came.
Since we Adepti have consensus, then one shall persist no further. But how will we ensure that the Liyue Chising will not simply exploit their power once we depart? In my view, that is still a thing to be guarded against.
All right, Mooncarver, you needn't worry. It seems to me that this right of supervision is best left to the people of Liyue.
Looks like the conflict between humans and Adepti was avoided. All's well that ends well, huh?
Tú lo has dicho.
Oh, right! It's nice that we've got peace and all, but we're forgetting one thing. Child wanted to unleash the god so he could lure Rex Lapis out. But we were able to handle the Overlord of the Vortex on our own, so Rex Lapis never showed up. Oh, and speaking of that, don't we still need to get to the bottom of that Archon's death, too?
Venga, vamos a hacerlo.
Hyman doesn't...
Me han dado 3 logros. Que yo sepa. Derrota a Nobile sin que este ponga una marca sobre algún miembro del equipo y sea atacado inmediatamente a él. Derrota a Nobile. Haz que Osial, el señor del vórtice, se huya. Básicamente. Señor, te voy a dejar ya, disfruta. Vale. Descanse usted. Os juro que esta parte de Liyue no la he visitado. Así que todo esto tiene que estar hasta arriba de cofres. Y es lo primero que vamos a hacer, buscarlos. Vaya.
These things useful?
El primero que busco es el primero que encuentro, uno lujoso. Otro. ¿Y en este lado? Sospechoso que no haya nada más. Pero bueno. Voy a escalar un poquito más por si acaso. Otro cofre. Es que ni sabía que estaba esta parte, en serio. Y sé que he pasado por ahí.
Empty chest. Good for storage.
¿Es lo necesario que es investigar absolutamente todo? De vez en cuando si utilizáis la visión esta es recomendable porque te llevas cosas. Vale. Vale, me marca por allí. Voy a seguir investigando todo esto porque... es lo que digo, quiero intentar descubrir Inazuma y tal. Esta parte parece que no ha cambiado nada. Hola.
Is there anything I can do for you two? I'm afraid that Wangsheng funeral parlor isn't in the best state to receive guests.
We've come to see Zhongli. Could you please tell him we're here?
Unfortunately, Zhongli isn't here at the moment. It seems he went to Northland Bank.
Doesn't the Northland Bank belong to the Fatui? Last time we saw Zhongli was before we went to the Golden House. Do you think he doesn't know about the attack on Liyue? Visiting the Fatui at a time like this could only mean more trouble. We had better go and make sure that everything is okay.
A ver si con esto nos abren Inazuma ya. ¿O no? Creía que esto iba a estar más lejos. Por cierto, de vez en cuando es recomendable mirar esta zona, este sitio, porque puedes comprarle cositas con insignias Geo, que son unas insignias que consigues por hacer nada, cualquier cosa. Así que todo lo que pilléis, intentad gastarlo. Prototipos, lo primero. Si veis que tenéis, primero los prototipos y luego los frasquitos para mejorar a la viajera. Aquí robé 200.000 moras que me encontré en un cofre. Así que a ver si nos dicen algo.
You call this cooperation between harbingers. Cooperation involves communication, you know.
Don't take it to heart, child.
Bueno, la señora.
Besides, aren't you happy that you got to skip the formalities and bring chaos to the land? I'm sure you must have enjoyed that. Oh, it seems that some of your friends have arrived.
Hey, it's Zhongli and Child. And
Es la señora.
It's you two. I believe we've met once before. In the city of Bards, was it? I'm glad you still remember my name. Ah, right. I imagine that it must have been rather hard to forget watching helplessly as something precious was snatched away from your friend.
Todavía puedo recuperarla.
No, don't let her get to you. You've yet to gather the powers of all 7 elements, and our last battle at the Golden House was almost more than you could handle. So it might be best to keep
No ha
things
dicho
peaceful
eso.
this time, seeing that 2 of the Harbingers are here.
Well, if it isn't you two. This is our first time seeing each other since Liyue was nearly wiped off the map. This is certainly a bit awkward, wouldn't you say?
Paimon knew that we should never have trusted a Fatui Harbinger.
Oh, now don't say that. Sure, I may have misled you, but I never had anything against you personally. Besides, I thought we were getting along quite well together, didn't you? Except for that little tussle we had at the end. Nothing personal. We just have different views, that's all. Of course, you may very well hold this against me, but that's up to you. The real deceivers here are Senora and Zhongli. Curse them for leading me on.
¿Nobile fue engañado por Chun-Li?
So actually, I think...
Stop wasting time, child. There'll be plenty of time to chat once I'm through here. You remember the agreement, Morax. Now, if you would be so kind. The Gnosis, please.
De acuerdo.
What in the world are you talking about?
The contract is fulfilled. That which thou seeketh is now bestowed unto thee. For my promise is solid as stone.
Ha dejado de hablar hace un rato de los gestos, pero bueno.
How sanctimonious.
¿Chun-Li es Rex Lapis entonces?
What? So you're the Lord of Chio? No, wait. That's an exciting twist and all, but why give the Gnosis to the Fatui?
I do not give it for free. I give it as agreed upon in the contract. For it is a matter solely between the Tsaritsa and I.
No lo pillo.
Yeah, you don't think you went a little bit too far with that whole fake death thing? Everyone was preparing the ceremony for you, and splat! This big dragon falls out of the sky, and all of Liyue goes into an uproar.
Gathering all the forces that had been bubbling behind the scenes, and then stirring them together in a pot that was bound to boil over. That's what he wanted.
Tiene que ser raro tener toda esta espiral aquí todo el rato, ¿no?
Wait, what?
Perhaps it's best that I explain. As you know, I've dwelt upon this world for more than 6,000 years. It is now 3,700 years ago that I founded Liyue, together with the Adepti. Even boulders that can withstand whirlpools will erode with the passing of time. I kept convincing myself that cracks had not begun to form, and that the end of my time had not yet come. Until one drizzly day, as I was strolling along the harbor, I heard a merchant tell one of his workers, "You finished your duties. Go ahead and call it a day." I stood motionless among the crowds, asking myself, have I already finished my duties?
Oh, Zhongli.
But as I began to consider relinquishing my divine role, I soon discovered that many reasons still remained to not hastily depart. Was Liyue, the city I had dwelt in for so
¿Este tío habla tan lento por alguna
already
razón?
prepared to enter its next age? So I feigned my own death, and gathered the cast of Child, the Adepti, and the Liyue Chising to play their roles together on the stage that was Liyue.
¿Y estás satisfecho con el resultado?
Indeed I was. The Gnosis, which I had kept for so many years, suddenly seemed to have lost its meaning. That's right. Which is why I continued to safeguard the Gnosis until now.
So you mean that if the chaos ever reached the point of no return, you would simply appear and use your divine powers to bring Liyue back under control?
Of course, and it would have been all too easy for him too. Just as a child quickly matures after losing their parents,
Esta pretende hacer lo mismo que
so
yo,
has Leo matured when faced with the death of its deity.
o darle todos los elementos al hermano.
The resolution to all that has transpired was even more satisfactory than I could have hoped for. Take the Adepti, for instance. Owing to their years of seclusion, they were the least informed. Yet when faced with a crisis, they commendably showed the greatest amount of restraint possible. Not only did they manage to cooperate with the Qixing, but in the end, they even made efforts to understand the hearts of the people. Credit is also due to Signora, the emissary dispatched by the Cryo-Archon to fulfill our contract. At my request, she kept everything she knew in strict confidence. This meant I could remain as Zhongli, even having the chance to fulfill the age-old traditions of Liyue in this mortal form. All of these things turned out as I had
no me he
planned.
enterado de la mitad de las cosas,
There was only one thing that I had not anticipated, and that was the conduct of the Liyue Qixing. I had expected them to do no more than the Adepti, to come to the defense of Liyue. But when all was said and done, they seized the opportunity to supplant Liyue's divine protectors, and used the subsequent power vacuum left by my death to quickly gain complete control of Liyue.
Huh? That doesn't sound good at all.
On the contrary, I think it is excellent. I had always feared that it was too soon for them to take over from me. And it was also that which I longed for the most. As such, this is the best parting gift anyone could have given this god of old.
Hey, what about me? Doesn't anyone feel the least bit of remorse for deceiving me?
No.
You've practically kept me in the dark.
Era muy tonto.
I think that thanks would be more appropriate. You certainly played no small part in all of this, wreaking havoc and turning the city upside down.
If you hadn't created the pressure of a battle between mortals, Adepti, and a god,
The lump of coal resting in the hands of the Geo-Archon, Liyue, would never have been able to become a dazzling diamond.
Huh? Just whose side are you on, mocking me like that? Are you itching for a fight?
Qué vergüenza me daría estar en tu posición.
Hey, haven't you learned the Liyue saying, don't always call it as you see it?
Well then, with the Gnosis in my possession, I have no use for such idle chatter. We should return to Zapoljarny Palace and seek an audience with Her Majesty, the Tsaritsa. Come, child.
Fine. I'll meet you there later. I'm not sharing a boat with
Hay una pieza que le flota de la ropa a Nobile. No está ni siquiera en contacto con las cosas. Con el resto de ropas no está enganchado.
Now then, is there anything else you wish to ask me?
¿Qué te dio el Arconte Crío aparte de a cambio de tu genosis?
Right! As Zhongli always told us, a good trade is a fair trade. Paimon has no idea what could be a good trade for a Gnosis.
Realistically speaking, there is no such thing.
Huh?
However, I am the god of contracts. For thousands of years, I have made countless contracts. If the deal was of no benefit, then I certainly would not be inclined to agree to it. My agreement with the Cryo-Archon will be the last of my contracts as the Geo-Archon. My contract to end all contracts. As for the bargaining chip that the Tsaritsa used to balance the scales, uncover that answer for yourself in your future journeys.
Es muy lento hablando este señor. No. Sal del Banco del Reino del Norte. Quiero mirar una cosita, que esto es importante. No, aquí no. Siempre me equivoco. En galería de personajes se puede ver todos los personajes, ¿vale? Y me gustaría saber qué habilidades tiene Ningguang. Porque la hemos visto así, liarla y tal. Y bueno, es un catalizador geo. Por lo que veo. Sí, es catalizador de geo. La verdad es que no me vendría nada mal sobre todo para puzzles. Para puzzle me vendría de miedo.
Today's the day of the rite of parting. Although the star of the show is fake? We've spent so much time trying to organize
¿Y tú te crees que yo voy a subir corriendo? Me teleporto.
it. It would be a real shame not to go there now.
Lo único malo es que todas estas misiones no dan prácticamente protogemas, las de la historia principal, y me hubiera gustado conseguir bastantes. Vale. Hola, ¿qué tal?
Well, since we're going through with this rite of parting, I guess it means that those...
So Rex Lapis is really...
But, oh, come on. Do you think that the assassin could have been a normal person? You know what I think. I don't think any of the gossip on the streets you hear from those shady types is worth anything. There's only one real possibility in my mind. I've heard that the assassin was that Fatui fellow.
Fatui? They certainly are very suspicious.
Shh! Lower your voice. If the Fatui catch you in their sights...
Joder, me encanta tener gente reggaetonera pasando por aquí a toda leche, ¿eh? Disfrutad de lo que tengo que sufrir cada día.
You know that god from the ocean couldn't have just shown up out of nowhere. I mean, it's been 2,000 years since Rex Lapis subdued it.
Bueno, básicamente esta gente se está creyendo que Rex Lapis ha muerto de verdad.
Yes, and to think that this happened right on the heels of the incident with Rex Lapis, too?
Say, do you think the person who assassinated our lord and released that evil god might have been one and the same?
Now that you mention it, that's very possible. Yeah, I mean, it all fits together. That person must have colluded with the evil god to harm Rex Lapis. Still, what sort of supernatural prowess must this person possess to be able to do such things?
Ah, forget it. Guessing's no use to us. Look, the Millilith over there looks like he's about to make an announcement.
Ya veis que normalmente intento cortar las conversaciones para que parezca que se ha acabado la frase, pero realmente no se ha acabado. Aún así, lo intento, ¿vale? Porque si no son frases absolutamente largas.
The Qixing's words. Though a dragon soars ageless as the mountains, it too must return to dust. This is common knowledge. Gods and Adepti live glorious lives, but both light and shadow have their season. So too must they face divinely appointed trials. Rumors and hearsay abound on the streets that Rex Lapis was murdered. Now, let the truth be revealed. Having been thwarted in his trial, Rex Lapis's soul has recouped the celestial heights. Nor are they to believe street-born rumors or indulge in baseless speculation.
Y ya está.
Paimon needs a translation on what the Qixing's announcement said.
Dijeron que Rex Lapis fue juzgado, que no fue asesinado.
So that's how they're spinning it. Something feels off. Why would they suddenly give up looking for the murderer? Not to mention how this excuse sounds like something they just... Could the Qixing already have known that Rex Lapis wasn't dead? But Zhongli said that neither they nor the Adepti knew anything. Did Zhongli tell them in secret after his gnosis changed hands?
Sí.
Exactly, right?
Te voy a decir que sí.
Ooh, seems like the rite of parting has been going on for a while now.
Mirad, tenía 380 protogemas. Tengo 480. He conseguido 100 protogemas en una hora. No son muchas realmente. Si haces ciertas misiones, puedes conseguir bastantes más.
Are they saying something? Are there speeches over?
As said previously, Rex Lapis's soul returning to the heavens is the end of the contract. And it is also the end of an era.
3,700 years of contracts burnt and reduced to ash.
We, the people of Liyue, were indeed prosperous. But blinded by our prosperity, we forgot that time can be pitiless.
The long, unending dream of our Archon walking among us.
Now that we have awoken from our dream, we must learn to say farewell. Will you stand with us as we re-establish our contracts? as we build a new age of prosperity.
So concludes the words of Her Eminence the Tianquan. Does Her Eminence the Yuheng have anything to add?
Huh? Is she looking this way?
Traveler.
Pero bueno.
Yikes! She really is looking our way.
Is that the traveler who they say defeated the ancient god?
Yo solo rompí una plataforma, pero sí.
So young. The Liyue Qixing always repay their debts. And as you have heard, our eyes see far and our reach is long. Name your price. You deserve that much.
Whoa.
¿Estás seguro que pide comida o algo así?
Well, could you help me put up some missing person posters?
Pero bueno, si habla. La verdad es que no me lo esperaba.
Perhaps.
Sí. Uno. Parece que hay que hablar con los que tengan título.
But it seems that, well...
As for the more...
Ya está, arreglado. Hola. Como no me iban a decir nada importante, me lo he saltado.
Look at this. Everyone in Liyue is caught up in their emotions, thinking that they'll never see Rex Lapis again. And here you are looking all relaxed.
Why would I not feel more at ease after laying down the burden I have borne for 3,700 years? Right. If the two of you can spare the time, I should treat you to a meal at the Xinyue kiosk.
Venga, vale.
That sounds like big talk, Zhongli. Paimon might have believed you if you were treating us to some third-round knockout.
You're right. I do like the Mora.
¿Cómo es posible que Morax no tenga ni un Mora?
As the Rex Lapis Morax, I can easily create Mora. But since I have chosen to walk this earth as the mortal Zhongli, I should abide by the same rules that mortals do. When I was journeying with you, though I still had the Gnosis in hand, I knew that I must soon retire from my role as an Archon.
Oh, no wonder. Paimon gets it now. You didn't look at the price tags when we were spending because you've never had to.
¿Nos has dado cuenta después de tanto viaje que he tenido con este personaje, con Paimon, que puede hablar de yo y no como de una tercera persona?
But since you weren't used to not being able to just make more Mora as and when you wanted to, you had to try becoming a parasite to society who lives off of other people's credit.
Well, we were only spending Fatui money. You don't have to say it like that. In the City of Commerce, we do not merely exchange money or goods. We also exchange the Archon Morax. Could never experience life as the true mortal Zhongli could. I must thank you for that. I will treasure the memories that I made as Zhongli, traveling the streets of Liyue with you.
Fue un buen viaje.
That is true. But there is no journey that does not end.
Paimon thinks that we should make a move and continue our search for the Seven.
I fear that continuing your journey may be difficult. The nation that neighbors Liyue by sea, Inazuma, is presently closed.
¿Cómo que está cerrada?
Yes. The nation has been closed by order of its deity, the Electro-Archon Ball. And just as the people of Liyue preferred to call me Rex Lapis, she too goes by another name among locals in Inazuma.
Paimon thinks we've heard that one before. Raiden?
That is the case. And since Raiden is also the Shogun of Inazuma, people call her the Raiden Shogun.
That said, though people at the wharf were saying that the situation in Inazuma is very tense, Paimon doesn't remember that always being the case. What, Zhongli? Since you're Rex Lapis, shouldn't you know something about what's happening there? Just how did Inazuma become a closed nation?
It's because of visions.
Por las visiones.
Visions?
Los
When
poderes.
faced with circumstances beyond their control, humans often bemoan their lack of power. But if a person shows true strength of will at a desperate and fateful moment in their life, this is what visions are. Magical foci bestowed upon those who have been acknowledged by the gods.
Uh-huh. That's how people in Teyvat see it.
But starting from last year, the Raiden Shogun began promulgating the Vision Hunt Decree.
Que estaríamos discriminados en esa parte, ¿no?
Vision Hunt Decree?
Yes. It was an order to seize all visions within Inazuma's borders, and to inlay them upon the hands of the statue of the omnipresent god.
Directamente convertirse en un dios. Dios de verdad, pero dios,
They want
dios.
to seize visions. But why? Aren't visions blessings from the gods?
I should think that in the Raiden Shogun's eyes, it is precisely because they are divine blessings.
Whoa, that's harsh.
The Anemo Archon is the god of freedom, and the Geo Archon is the god of contracts. For her part, the Raiden Shogun is the god of eternity. It seems as though she has finally decided to eliminate any unstable elements that could pose the fact that even I,
Me intenta robar los elementos y le diré, hostias, me da igual quien sea.
will only strengthen her resolve to pursue eternity. Knowing her, she must have again quoted that adage she is most fond of when proclaiming that decree to her people. 7 ideals for 7 gods. And of these, eternity is nearest unto the heavenly principles. All right then. Was there anything else you wish to know?
De momento es todo por ahora.
Well then, I suppose you'll have to find a way to get inside this closed nation. Have patience.
Yo quiero llegar allí, desbloquear toda esa zona. Esto de aquí es una mejora de constelación para este personaje. Aumenta el nivel de despertar de la Tierra. Esto creo que es la habilidad definitiva. ¡Ey! ¡Cofre! No sé si voy a poder llegar a este. Me he tirado desde demasiado abajo. Tengo aquí una misión en la brújula y no sé lo que es. Dios, por fin puedo hacerlo de la tetera. Y lo de la pesca, aún no puedo. Quiero hacerlo de la pesca. ¿Por qué no me dejáis? Si es lo único que busco.
Smell of treasure. Strange.
Ya las misiones estas ya las haré en otro momento, ¿vale? Ahora mismo quiero hacer la principal y seguir desbloqueando cosas. Ah, me obligan a hacerlo. Voy a hacer esta y luego voy a hacer la de las protogemas. Porque estoy viendo que son 60 protogemas y eso... Vamos, las manos van al pan. Por aquí. Pues creía que había que hablar con otra persona por la relaja tetera. Y era por eso por lo que quería ir por otra parte. Hola, señora. La verdad es que no me voy a enterar de lo más mínimo, ¿eh?
Children, come. Oh, no.
Me lo voy a saltar un poco.
A gift for Paimon?
When you traversed my old... That fortunately, I have... Oh, I will not... The teapot that you entered previously...
So, in...
Oh,
No me voy a enterar de mucho porque no me interesa.
Nostalgia.
That's right!
Oh, settle down now, children. There's what's more. Well, for starters, I require you would have to dig, but almost no even more in any case. Smaragdus
Me está pidiendo materiales que no puedo recoger.
knows that that child will succeed.
Well, since...
Yes.
She...
I'm back, Granny. Oh, I don't believe we've met.
Allow me to do the honors. This Yenfei,
Of course, who hasn't? Much has been written.
Este es un personaje jugable, ¿eh?
Before finally defeating an ancient... A shame that if we had, allow me to introduce... Oh, yes. Here's my business card. If you have an urgent...
All right, Yenfei. You'll have to excuse Yenfei.
Hay un personaje que me gusta mucho, que estuve viendo por la información, y es, hay un personaje que, como pasiva, te permite correr más rápido por la noche.
Is that Yenfei?
I know, Granny, you've Commercial consultant Crossel. A Snezhnayan merchant. He mentioned that So, I guess I'll go look for him. Oh, you want to join?
Wow. Best we be...
Demasiado texto, yo lo siento. Era demasiado texto. Otra misión ahí arriba. La niña. Sí. Tengo carne de ave. Hola. ¿Pero cuántas misiones van a aparecer aquí de repente? No sé, me han aparecido 4 misiones de golpe.
Hello, Mr. Crossel.
Oh, good.
You're...
Miss Yanfei.
Wait!
No, I'm not. The contract
Demasiado
says
texto.
in return, I included a clause that guarantees the Smaragd...
Guaranteed genuine?
Of course. This...
In that case...
Oh,
Thanks a lot, Mr.
2 misiones más incluso. 3. Es que lo mejor es que todas estas misiones son las de reputación. O sea que realmente puedes hacer todas estas misiones o pasar de ellas. Pero la reputación en todas las ciudades es buenísima. Ya que dan recompensas muy buenas. Vale, esta me ha pedido libros y tal vez los tenga. Pues libros a mansalva. Le voy a comprar todos. Porque luego hay logros por... Hay logros por tener las historias completas. ¿Veis? Por eso merece la pena comprar todos los libros, aunque no te los leas.
Whatever shall I do?
De hecho, la biblioteca de Lisa, la del Electro que está en Mondstadt, tiene por lo menos 30 libros para conseguirla gratis.
Yes, that's me.
How do you do, Miss? My associates and I are...
The hairpins. I don't know how I spent so much money on... We now have a big banquet. That's what the hair... But now that I've lost...
Why
Would you Hold on.
Huh?
Let me see.
That's right! Yanfei said true!
Right. I finished reading the
Por
furthermore.
Dios,
And
basta.
given the rare
Even higher. Oh, no.
Uh-oh.
However,
Did you really have to pause? Whichever way you look...
except that if we found
Please.
Son demasiadas frases.
Now that it's come.
Ya estáis viendo todas las que me estoy saltando.
So hold on a moment.
What did I feel? My family has seen.
Smooth to the touch. No, it's not.
Van a saltar un montón de libros y es normal. Porque son libros nuevos.
Ah, Miss Yan. You lost them.
Sorry.
Mora, I did.
No problem. But it was in fact genuine.
Of course.
All right, understood. I'll
Thank you very much.
Looks like I'll have.
Please wait, Mr. Chap. It's not.
Salían brillitos ahí como de recursos que se pueden conseguir. La cosa es que si luego cumples todas estas misiones, te vas a la zona de reputación y te llevas un montón de recompensas. Te llevas recompensas que es nivel de reputación, pero a lo mejor te dan recetas para... yo que sé, que puedes comer más rápido incluso. Y eso está muy bien.
Miss Yanfei.
No. What I wanted to talk about is, there is a chance that the Orin laid on those hairpins.
What do you mean?
Obviously not. I'm no adventurer. I don't know if Granny told you this, but if mere mortals come into Mr. Chow, did you at any time feel
No.
De manera de saltárselo más rápido.
Now that is strange. If I've deduced correctly, he may
If that's the case, we should go confront him.
Absolutely not. If we were to confront him now, there's no
Me
way.
duele ya la mano, ¿eh? Estoy cambiando de manos para pulsar.
Meanwhile, we would have to look under every stone in Liyue, hoping and praying that the hairpins do actually still
So vivid that Paimon thinks it might...
Oh, it certainly is. I've seen my fair share of
Well then, since you're...
Oh, that won't be a problem. But for...
Huh? Does there have to be a contract
Basta ya,
for
por
everything?
favor.
Paimon can't even keep track. It feels like Yanfei...
These are my formal terms of engagement. Anywhere commissioned, but not bound by a...
I understand.
Son muy pesadas,
No
yo lo
problem.
siento.
Just sign here, and I'll sign too. And I'll also need your signatures on pages.
This contract has so many pages. Paimon...
All right, that should do it. My fees are the same as always, and they're written...
I've had to read through...
Well then, here's your copy of the contract. I will retain the other copy. Not for now, no. Despite how I don't believe you have been part of an investigation.
Miss Yanfei, I have to ask...
Because, as it happens, I'm currently... Whether he actually made it into an item of jewelry also. The idea of someone abused... But again, let's not dwell on this. Ah, I've got it. If Mr. Crossell had his...
Why, hello there.
No, nothing of the...
That was the first... He was quite why, yeah...
Thank you, sir.
¿Tú vendes algo? Tengo 97, tengo 100 y tengo 50. No me hace falta nada. Supongo que se estará escuchando el perro en la calle, ¿no?
My eyes don't deceive me. The cross... Yes. I've heard it said that's...
A thin layer of...
If you must see for your...
Is that... So, did you find anything? So they really...
There's nothing special to it. It's just so these two stones, there may be only a stand...
All right, let's...
But, never mind.
Unusual actions have...
Y pensar que te tienes que comer 4 o 6 misiones así.
Then I have no. Of course. Oh, I have this document. I wouldn't say that with this hard evidence to. On the contrary, if you want to make jewelry, you need a professional jewelsmith. Let me think. Jewelry. Aha! Got it.
Well, that was quick.
Because lots of people, as you know, Leo, but the amendments made as such.
So you have to.
Yes, well, you sound surprised. Oh, this has nothing.
Again with that cat.
Well, that's that then.
Ya os habéis cansado. Me marcaba por aquí otra misión. Así que si las puedo seleccionar todas y luego ya hacerlas fuera de cámara, mejora. Vale, a 100 metros. Debería hacer esto. Voy curando a los personajes. Es que siguen saltando misiones, es acojonante.
Have no further. Has a merchant.
Crosal. The design of this order was on hold for a very long time.
Doesn't seem like they're
Miss Inksy.
Demasiado texto, yo lo siento.
Mr. Crosal, I also kept a copy for my own records. See for yourself. The item is the inlaid gemstone.
Thank you, Sinksy.
Sure.
Nothing you need to worry about.
Why is everyone's first reaction? Oh,
I believe we have almost all.
the weirdo with the.
Because.
Es que no lo voy ni a leer, yo lo siento, pero es que esto no es historia principal. Si fuera historia principal me lo leería, pero es que esto es texto. Ya está. Es relleno. Ahora vamos a preguntar a Chichi. Vamos a ir con Chichi a preguntar sobre Chichi. No, no está.
Please, show me your prescription. My, and if it isn't...
No.
Smaragdus, the seven mount, it is abundant. I suppose...
That is indeed the...
No trouble at all. But after I wonder... You're too...
That Baiju guy is as weird as ever. Is it just Paimon, or does it feel like he was fishing for something back there?
¿Pero por qué se estira tanto esta misión? No lo entiendo.
Well, we have the evidence we need. Let's go find Mr. Crossell.
A todo esto, teníamos 4 misiones antes, ¿no? ¿Cuántas tenemos ahora? Vaya.
Miss Yanfei?
Yes. My
Wonderful.
Of course, Mr. Crossell.
Sure. Wait, what? Me pay?
Not at all. Now, the...
Material? I spent a huge...
Indeed. Only a testimony from this is a processing...
Seriously? In any case...
that's an...
Well, your claim that my ore is fake is just a...
Hard evidence.
Esto parece peor que 100.
Finding. We have just the thing. Show...
This document...
Our second piece... You know...
Of course I'm right. All the evidence...
Well, hang on a moment now. Because Traveler, would you do the honors?
What?
Smaragdus Jadeite sustained contact, Mr. Crossell. No idea. I'm afraid that this... However, don't worry, Mr. I trust that you'll give the...
What? Wait!
Oh, so you knew?
Oh.
Huh? No.
Aren't actually in you do, Mr. Crossell. Yemp, he's seriously intimidating.
I admit it. But after receiving it, I went to boo. That's why I had another pair. I kept the real Smaragdus. I was worried that someone would see through it.
Exactly.
I didn't. If word got.
All right, let's cut the appeals phase right.
10 times.
Por favor, basta.
He could faint any second. As for me,
20%. That's.
Even if the
Ms.
However, Mr.
What? But
Miss Yunfei.
Well, that.
Thanks so much for.
Oh, come on. Well then, that's good, Mr. Crossell. It seems that my client has.
Actually, I could see from the. If we could join.
A todo esto, ¿no estábamos haciendo algo de una tetera?
Well, that's that. And we've got the Smaragdus Jadeite that Granny wants too. Exactly. The right solution the objective of my client, Mr. Chow, an Adeptus. Liyue Harbor is now a city ruled by the title of Adeptus in any case. Don't you think that the Liyue Paimon can think of someone who would well, since we got what we came for?
Espero que ya con esto se termine la misión de la tetera de las narices, porque vaya tela. Ah, que no era aquí siquiera. Creo que desde aquí puedo escalarlo. Una flor de las buenas.
Ah, you've returned. Good.
Well, if we're all...
Oh, you.
I'm off then. Bye. Oh, yes, Traveler. Make sure I've been looking into...
Come now, child.
I'm leaving. I'm leaving.
Por favor, basta.
That child. Yanfei. Liyue is all right then.
Oh, Paimon's so excited.
He visto un fantasma en la cinemática. Un silly.
Hold it firm. Take these blueprints with you as well.
Wait a minute.
Oh.
Ok. Vale, estábamos aquí. ¿Dónde la he visto? Me está temblando la habitación y no sé por qué. No sé qué está pasando. Vale, me obligan a usarla, ¿no? ¿Cómo que no se puede colocar aquí la tetera? ¿Y si no lo veo o qué? ¿Morada flotante? Me gusta el flotante. No sé qué hará, pero me gusta.
Wow, this teapot seems but there's just a whole load of nothing around it.
Parece el templo de Dragon Ball.
I can't do that still. Oh, wait.
Es que parece literalmente el templo de Dragon Ball.
Well, it seems that it's a huge finch. Excuse,
No me puedes dejar irme a Inazuma y ya está.
Oh, call me. So you're the... Madam, you may leave. Your journey may be far, though it is
Solo quiero ir a Inazuma.
You may consider now. Have you any... As long as you have a blueprint.
Blueprint?
Yes, these are... Just commit, then simply...
Wow! Is that all it takes? Then, We could build a whole city.
I doubt it. He said this world is a golden-eyed. I hardly remember myself. What's more, well, let's not dwell if there's an...
Necesitas salir. Tras usar e invocar la relajatetera podrás invocar con ella, podrás interactuar para entrar. Una vez dentro también podrás usarla, invocarla e interactuar con ella para salir. Es posible salir de la relajatetera abriendo directamente el mapa y escogiendo un punto de TP. Habla con el espíritu para saber más sobre este y para gestionar los asuntos relacionados con ella. Puedes crear todo tipo de objetos en la interfaz de fabricación. Los materiales para fabricar se recolectan en la naturaleza. Puedes obtener un objeto de inmobiliario, puedes usar la función de colocar. Para decoraciones, para aumentar el nivel de energía adéptica de tu relajatetera, a medida que aumente el nivel, acumularás intramora más deprisa. Puedes usar intramoras para comprar todo tipo de artículos. De vez en cuando hay un espíritu ambulante que en la tetera te vendrá a visitar en el mundo interior. Hay una posibilidad de que consigas tesoros extraños. O sea que es montarse un bar y ya está. Vale, te avisan de que tengas cuidado antes de que la líes. Pues lo voy a poner aquí, yo creo. Aquí. Ya está, no puedo montar nada más. Esto es todo el texto que me han dado antes y eso te da moras, te da protogemas. En teoría se va a montar aquí. ¿Lento? Objeto de misión, me dan. Vale. Sí, posiblemente ni lo use esta zona, ¿eh? ¿Qué me das? Planos. ¿Y qué más me has dado? Mira, aquí tengo los planos buenos. Por fin puedo usar esto. ¿En qué momento he dicho que yo qué? Vale, parece que yo me puedo ir.
Hey, do you know what? Neither do I. I already forgot.
Parece que ya me puedo ir del todo. Y lo de la tetera no me interesa. Quiero ir a Inazuma. Punto. No quiero nada más. Es lo único que pido hoy. Por cierto, protogemas, 520. Hasta 640 creo que no te vale. No me vale de nada hacer ahora mismo nada.
Traveler, please, over here.
¿Qué
It has
quieres?
been a while since you joined the Adventurers Guild. Are your adventures going smoothly?
Con más compañeros sería mejor.
Is that so? Apart from your own skills, reliable teammates are also indispensable when adventuring. Another person to count on is always good after all. But recruiting such dependable companions is no easy matter, is it?
Me tienen que tocar los gachapones.
Yep, and it's even harder to get a guide as good as Paimon.
Ah, yes. I do have some information that may be of help to you. Let me consult our records. Ah, there it is. There's been a certain blonde stranger who arrived in Mondstadt lately, dressed in most unusual clothes.
¿Viene mi hermano?
Blonde. Dresses all funny. Wait! Do you mean...
¿Es posible?
Does that stranger's face look anything like hers?
Like the honorary knights? No, they couldn't look more different. This stranger is a very tall man, and even has an eye patch.
¿Con un parche?
Seriously? How does this have anything to do with Kaya?
That stranger declined the guild's invitation, so I can't say that I know anything about the relationship between him and Mr. Kaya. Nonetheless, you can look for him if you're interested. Perhaps he might accept your commission instead. After all, it is not uncommon for some adventurers to not want to be limited by the guild, but be happy to accept a fellow adventurer's requests. And should the stranger be a strong adventurer indeed, he would certainly be a big help on your journey.
Puede que sea una persona difícil con la que es... Puede que sea una persona difícil con la que es difícil tratar.
Please don't talk down. Your deeds are the stuff of song for all the bards in the city, even now. Well, as to further news about him, you may want to ask Mr. Lawrence. He stands guard at the city gate, so he may know something about that stranger. I wish you every success, adventurer.
Si me regalan un personaje, yo lo acepto.
Faster? Okay, faster.
Honorary knight. Is something the matter? A stranger with an eye patch. Let me think. Oh yeah, I remember seeing someone like that. He was wandering all over Mondstadt at first, which I found rather suspicious. So I decided to keep an eye on him for a while. I lost him pretty quickly. Still, I didn't think that this was such a huge matter that we needed our outrider to pursue him by air. As long as Master Jean is here, there's nothing to fear from some suspicious, unusual-looking person.
That might be true, but if it were up to Jean, she'd take this way more seriously.
That is true. But on the other hand, knowing that Master Jean may overreact to the situation is all the more reason to not tell her, no? Anyways, oh yeah, he was at Wagner's smithy for a while before I tried telling him. You should go ask him. Maybe...
Pues a preguntar a la herrería. Por cierto, de vez en cuando puedes preguntarle cositas y te dice ubicaciones de minerales.
You need something?
Y eso es bueno.
Here. I remember him. He showed up a few days ago asking to buy a bunch of forging materials. Can't say I've heard of any of the materials he meant. He then had a look at the weapons in my shop before leaving. I've heard that he can be found drinking at the Angel's Share. If the Knights or the Guild want to get hold of him, that's the only place to be.
The Angel's Share? Well, Master Diluc probably has his eye on that stranger too then. Anyway, let's go to the Angel's Share and have a...
Venga, vamos allá a ver. Pero esto es lo que os digo. Vais aquí a... ¿Dónde puedo encontrar minerales? Y dice exactamente siempre lo mismo. Ya te marca dónde están. Así que tienes otro sitio localizado. Bueno, está bien. Como tal está bien. Por cierto, ¿tengo alguna misión? En Liyue tengo misiones de...
Faster? Okay, faster.
de reputación que recoger. Hola. No quería sentarme.
Grape juice or apple cider?
Hey, Charles!
That I have. He even sometimes mixes his own drinks after he orders them. I don't know anything else about him, but from his selections and mixes.
And what's Master Diluc's opinion?
Why, I just gave it to you. Quite the connoisseur.
Investigating everything as always. Guess that's D-Luke for you.
If you're looking for that gentleman, he ordered some new bottle of wine in advance yesterday. So he should be here today too. There's too many raucous patrons on the first floor, so if you want to wait, best to go to the second.
Ay Dios, ¿voy a poder ir al tejado de esta casa o no? Es que sí que hay un piso aquí que no puedo visitar aún. Esta zona aquí no se puede visitar.
Ah, welcome, sir. The wine that you previously ordered is here.
He's really here? Let's go downstairs and have a look.
No sé quién es. No lo reconozco.
Drink some more.
No me ha vestido como el personaje masculino.
Wow, he's got no intention of paying us any mind, huh?
Hola, soy una viajera.
A traveler, you say? Why are you traveling? Well, that's as good a reason as any.
So, guess we've broken the ice. What a weird guy.
¿Qué puede ser el hermano? Tal vez.
That little one beside you.
Comida de emergencia.
That's not true, and you know it.
It's indeed a good thing to have someone accompany you on your travels. My name's Dainsleif. I suppose you have some business with me?
Recluto compañeros. A ver, con la máscara ya sabemos que puede ser un fatui, así que eso es un problema.
Sure.
He was so cold just a moment before.
But I will require advance payment.
¿Cuánto tienes en mente?
500 mora, and 3 answered questions. The 500 is a one-time fee, and we'll settle the questions in a moment. That's it.
Well, now Paimon's gonna really
A ver qué me pide ahora.
That kind of compensation can't be right.
Ah, thank you. Now, as for my questions, I'd like you to answer them here and now. The answer to a question says nothing about right and wrong. Oh, I only wish to know what your choices are. You need only answer. Question 1. The crisis Mondstadt faced was resolved by an alliance between yourself and that Animo Archon who calls himself Venti.
Realmente no tengo
Who, in your view,
opción a
was the
responder
key
otra
to
cosa.
ending that crisis? I know everything that I should. Well, answer the question.
Fue por el trabajo en equipo de todos los ciudadanos.
Is that your answer? Question number 2. Rex Lapis, who has defended Liyue Harbor for millennia on end, used his gnosis to lay down a contract to end all contracts, of which the stipulations are still unknown. Who do you think will defend Liyue Harbor in the future, now that they've lost their deity?
Las 7 estrellas.
So that's your answer? Now for this world has people who gained visions, and those who did not. Which of the two do you think hold more importance in the eyes of the gods?
Ninguno.
So, this is your answer then. As I thought, you really are similar to him.
¿A qué te refieres con él?
I'll take that 500 mora. And now I also understand your views on this world. That said, I only take commissions related to the Abyss Order. Like you, I am currently on a journey. You intend to find your sibling, while I wish to oppose the Abyss.
Me he encontrado con algunos magos del abismo antes. Es verdad.
Those creatures that serve the Abyss are the fangs and claws by which the Order spreads chaos in this world. I have come to Mondstadt this time while on the trail of an Abyss Herald.
An Abyss Herald?
An even more twisted abyssal being. One that commands the Abyss Mages.
Desde el incidente de Balin no hemos...
Oh, that's right! We've just been fighting against the Fatui and Liyue, who are human too! We haven't encountered the non-human Abyss Order at all!
There's some reason behind that, I'm afraid. It's possible that they may have been under orders to avoid your path.
Oh, that does sound pretty dangerous. Maybe they're looking for a better time to
Yo puedo contra ellos.
Super strong.
That manner. It's just like his. Well then, let's go see for ourselves, shall we? According to the leads I have on hand, the Abyss Order has re-infiltrated the Temple of the Falcon. Let's meet up at the temple. Perhaps your questions about the Abyss will be answered.
Vale. Me teleporto directamente, ya como antes.
This abandoned temple does bear some marks of the Abyss. The Falcon of the West. Though it can soar in the wind, it Oh, it's nothing. Let's head inside.
¿Me dejarán controlar a este personaje? O ver cómo es. Supongo que me piden este, ¿no? El de nivel 46, por el nivel en el que estoy.
The scent of the Abyss is getting stronger. It's not far now.
Paimon wonders what the Abyss Heralds look like. Do they look something like the Abyss Mages?
Let's head further in first. If we do see that creature, that'll spare me the explanation either way.
Vale, ¿algún explosivo o algo? Siguiente. Parece sencillo dentro de lo que hay. Si yo lo que busco es el acceso a Inazuma y se acabó. Y además estos gachos de lobo me vienen de miedo. Los ganchos de lobo sirven para mejorar únicamente a Razor. Pero me vale.
Go. Opening box of Adepti tricks.
Me curo suficiente aunque no utilice a Kiki.
Enhanced Animal Module 75. Absorption test.
Vaya, han explotado.
Just a few Abyss mages? Seems like that herald might have already left. The Abyss. It is chaos, and it is also destruction. It is a morass of inconceivable madness that encroaches upon this world's very foundations. That is why even the Dragon of the East, a servant of a deity, was unable to resist its corrosive powers, and the creatures of the Abyss desire nothing less than the overthrow of a world ruled by the Archons.
You seem to know a lot about the Abyss, Dane.
Well, we do have some history. I suppose that's as far as chit-chat goes. Judging by the traces I'm following, their next perhaps we may find our Abyss.
Y ya está, zona hecha. Voy a tener que hacer varios dominios aposta para esto.
Life goes on.
Queda un poquito lejos esto. Definitivamente. Voy a tener que escalar, en serio. No sé si voy a poder escalar con esta inclinación, ¿eh? Vale, sí, sí me deja. Además, a doble pared. Lo que no sé si voy a llegar, ¿eh? Porque me queda poca energía. Vale, llego justito. Barrachos de lobo. No sé qué pasa, en serio, estos golpes no son normales.
Lord of Wolvendom, sharp of fang and keen of claw, and yet dwelling here only. No, nor does it know me. I only know these things because a previous traveling companion of mine once wanted to hear its story. All right, let's go see if that Abyss Herald has stopped by here.
But where do we begin? Are you?
Indeed. See that? Floating above the flames? It's an abyssal spell. Knowing what I do of the Order's habits, they've probably left similar marks behind elsewhere.
Pues nada, a buscar llamitas.
Do you think that those monsters by the bonfire are under the Abyss Order's control? Looks kind of scary. Let's beat them up first.
No parece que quieran dialogar mucho, la verdad.
Whew. Looks like this bonfire's also got something to do with the Abyss.
Debe de estar ahí arriba, ¿no?
just like the abyss. Yikes! Where do these monsters pop out from? Let's clear them out, and quick!
Storm the front! Quiver!
Lo que me molesta es que no den materiales. Porque algunos sí que podrían dar, ¿eh? Porque las máscaras estas me hacen falta. Las máscaras de los Hilichurri me hacen falta y solo me dan puntas de flecha.
Have you finished searching?
Sí.
I searched around these parts and found some signs myself, but they were left behind by abyss mages, and there was no deeper abyssal power to them. It seems that even an abyss herald would not wish to make trouble with the Wolf King of the North. We should leave as well. If there's anything praiseworthy about that old wolf, it's his territorial nature.
But now we're out of leads!
No. There is one more place we can go. Let's get a move on then.
Pues nada, a ver el dragoncete. Por suerte tengo todos los puntos de teletransporte hechos, si no esto sería aburridísimo. Pues aquí estaban los dos últimos óculos que me faltaban.
I've heard about what happened to you during Mondstadt's crisis. When you came, this place was known as Storm Terror's Lair. But I suppose that this place is more lair than Storm Terror at this point. In fact, if my memory serves, this ruin has had largely nothing to do with that dragon for a long time. The first time I laid eyes upon the ruins of Old Mondstadt, the Dragon of the East had yet to fall.
Huh? But Paimon remembers that Dvalin first got in trouble hundreds of years ago.
Don't think too much about it. Do you remember the light actuators that once sealed this ruin? If the Abyss Order is interested in this location, then they will not neglect those mechanisms. Let's go see what the situation is at those...
Vale. Voy a teleportarme mejor. Porque desde arriba puedes salir volando. Y llegas de sobra. Aún veo que tengo fantasmas por aquí sin investigar. Y logros por ello de acompañar a todos, pero es demasiado. Además es que está ahí a la izquierda, pero...
Look! There are lots of monsters gathered over there.
Animal test 6308. Swirl, Mark 2.
Life goes on.
Voy a aprovechar para activar el resto de personajes. ¿Me he muerto y ya respawnea?
I taste blood.
Glory to the sacred name, Fortune Preserver. Go.
Voy a meterles efectos de estado. Es que los escudos son muy duros.
So in the end, we still couldn't find that Abyss Herald.
I wouldn't call not having to gaze upon such a creature a shame exactly.
No, you're right. If it's a really powerful monster, it would be best to go around it.
How good it would be if all perils one encounters in their journeys could simply... Once upon a time, yes. I simply have experience from adventuring together with that...
You know, Dane, you keep talking about that person this, and where are they now anyway?
He no longer travel. I'm afraid that traveling can be too exhausting at times.
Oh, is that how it is? Well...
I still have some things left unfinished. Once they are done, I too will return home to rest.
Como tal, este personaje aún no ha peleado,
It's good to have a home to come back to, isn't it? Hey, once you find your sibling, we should find a place to stay too, shouldn't we? Mondstadt's Fisherman's Toast is pretty tasty. But, either way, we should settle down in a place where there's good food.
Paciencia.
Well, it won't be too late to think about where you stay once your journey reaches its end. While you're still traveling, you should...
Huh? What's familiar?
También noté la última vez que
Familiar
vinimos.
feeling, you say? It could be someone you know well. Or whichever it is, we should see it for ourselves, and thus see clearly. We can reach the top of that cliff from over there. Let's go.
Okay.
Whoa, Dane moves really fast, doesn't he? Let's use that wind current nearby to catch up.
Un segundín que recargamos energía. Que no sé cuánto voy a tener que escalar.
Can you still sense that familiar feeling that you spoke of earlier?
But it doesn't feel like there's anything around here.
Indeed. There doesn't seem to be anything strange about this place. It doesn't look any different from the last time I was here. My traveling companion brought me here on our previous journey.
So, Dane, what about you? What's your favorite place?
Me? I no longer remember. I merely followed my traveling companion around on that journey. Huh? A ruin guard's footprint. A ruin guard was wandering around here? No peace to be found, even for a single dandelion.
Todo esto ya no es visitable, por cierto. No me deja el juego. Me vienen flashbacks extraños. O sea que aquí es donde peleamos por primera vez.
What's gotten into you? You were just spacing out. Huh? You mean your brother? But how could that be? You only touched that dandelion for a second.
Perhaps that dandelion bears some sort of scent that only... As for why, has it perhaps experienced something related to you?
You're saying some real confusing stuff.
Do not rush. Vexation and anxiety are the enemy of rational thought. Your journey has only just begun, has it not?
Tampoco hay mucho más mundo que investigar.
At least you now know that he is still on this world.
Porque Inazuma tampoco tiene mucho tiempo.
At this time, the most important thing is the journey to find him itself. Yes, and this is something you must keep in mind as the meaning behind your journey. May you find your kin at the end of that journey. Well then, let us part ways here for now.
Huh? You're...
Only for now. Don't worry. After all, I did take 500 mora and those 3 answers you gave me.
Y ya está. Misión cumplidísima. ¿Qué hemos hecho? Literalmente nada. Reúne toda la colección de la leyenda. O sea, textos. Otro logro más. Y ahora puedo poner esto. Bueno, está bien. ¿Cuántas protogemas hemos sacado hoy? 616. Son muchas. Tal vez. He sacado unas 300 hoy. Y la siguiente misión pone que es... Completa la misión los asuntos del gremio de aventureros para hablar con la... O sea que tengo que hacer esta obligación. Está un poco lejos eso, ¿eh? Voy a hacer lo de la reputación. Me voy a hacer un par de jefes más y yo voy a cortar ya por hoy. Porque es bastante tarde. Son las 12 de la noche. 2 horitas de directo. Que tengo que aprovechar para subir todo lo posible. ¿Qué tal? La misión hecha. ¿Y qué me voy a hacer? Pues me voy a hacer el Regisbit Crío. Que estaba aquí. Me lo voy a hacer porque me hace falta. Realmente me hace falta los materiales para subir a esta... a Kiki. Y es bastante fácil de matar a este bicho, aunque no lo parezca. La verdad es que es un jefe tochísimo y en 3 golpes ha muerto. Lo único es que caer así no vale de nada. La idea es caerle justo en el núcleo. Y aquí ya crujirle a hostias.
Life goes on. Faster.
Bueno, pues que núcleo ya no tiene.
Oh.
Y se acabó. Es lo que he dicho. Parece muy fuerte, pero luego no lo es. No lo es. Esto es lo que me viene bien. ¿Esto qué es? Este reloj es nuevo. Me hace falta esto y esto.
I'm hungry. Let's hunt.
Dicho esto, ¿puedo mejorar algo a este personaje? Me faltan flores.
Breathe. 3, 4, and...
Este si lo mejoras se rompe. Este personaje literalmente se rompe. ¿Ya estáis viendo lo roto que está ahora? Y a este le pasa exactamente lo mismo. Le faltan estos. Así que voy a aprovechar. Voy aquí un momento. Miramos si podemos sintetizar y lo intentamos mejorar también. Más que nada te hacen falta 8 personajes bien puestos, bien montados. Aunque no lo parezca. Porque en la espiral del abismo tienes que hacerlo así. Entonces a este lo subo. Y encima nos llevamos de recompensa un objeto. Creo que no tengo ningún personaje más que nos dé un objeto. Pero tampoco estaría mal. Igual que este, que está sanada. No quería esto. Vale. Los fragmentos sí que los voy a montar porque me hacen falta. Los trocitos no sirven de nada prácticamente ya. Y este lo mismo. Y esto me viene muy bien porque sirve para montar un objeto para encontrar Oculus. Así que todos los que pueda montar, bienvenidos sean. Mejoritas del libro este. Esto es complicado, pero se puede hacer. Esto tengo 3 desafíos aquí que son difíciles, pero en algún momento podré hacerlos. ¿Qué más tengo? A ti te puedo ascender. Así que... otro ítem. Este pide cosas de Oceanida y no puedo hacerlas. A Noel sí que creo que es útil mejorarla, a pesar de que utilice los mismos objetos que Lisa para ascenderla. Vale, esto podría hacerlo farmeando bastante, pero se puede. ¿Hay alguno más que pueda mejorar? Chongyun creo que va a ser útil en algún momento, pero no me queda claro cuándo. Así que lo voy a subir también. No sube mucho, pero ahí está. Y de dinero y demás cosas, ¿cómo vamos? Tengo un cuarto de millón nada más ahora. Ahí me he gastado bastante, pero bueno. Tengo 3 tiradas de estas de las multis, me las voy a guardar hasta que pueda conseguir 10, ¿eh? Fuera de eso, no se puede conseguir nada más, así que nada. Espero que os haya gustado este episodio. Sé que no ha sido muy entretenido y que no puedo hablar muy alto y tal, pero espero que os haya gustado y si es así, nos vemos en el siguiente episodio. Chao.